It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Buchendu. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's our very first show in the month of December. We are in the thick of things, or what Nigerians like to call Dirty December. But a lot of things are looking all over the place. We just heard that Nigeria has been added to the red list by the United Kingdom as a result of the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus, which is hitting the world hard. And we're not sure why certain countries are on the list and certain other countries are not. I mean, it's the festive season and the holiday season, and it's a time when a lot of Nigerians who have a huge number of family members in the UK would have expected to be connected either way at the time. So the United Kingdom, hopefully the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nigeria is doing all the diplomacy that's hopefully needed at this time to resolve this. Yes, it is a global pandemic. Yes, it's a public health issue, but we also do hope that this is not an issue of certain countries being called out for certain other reasons besides the fact that there actually is a deadly virus around the world. But something else has caught the attention of a lot of Nigerians this week. We did hear about a junior secondary school pupil or student of Darwin College, Sylvester Oromoni, who passed away, unfortunately, in very controversial circumstances. A lot of things are still alleged, but we do know that apparently his dying declaration, he did name certain names, and the story we do hear from his family is that he was bullied, and which allegedly resulted in his death. The school authorities have claimed otherwise. The Lagos State government has shut the school down indefinitely, and we're all looking to hopefully get some answers in the days, hopefully not weeks or months ahead. We need answers as soon as possible, because Sylvester, a young 12-year-old boy, definitely should not die in vain. And it looks like this is becoming a very recurring incident across the country. We did hear that I think sometime in August, a 13-year-old junior secondary school student of Federal Government College, Kwali, was also allegedly killed by being beaten to death. That case is we're still not sure what the situation there is, by a teacher at the time. We also heard about a 14-year-old student of Premier Academy in Lugbe, Abuja, who was sexually assaulted, and which also allegedly resulted in her death. So there's something fundamentally going wrong. A lot of us did go to boarding schools across the country, and we know, yes, bullying has always been a part of the system, unfortunately, but it looks like things are taking a very deadly turn. And now is the time to halt things. Everybody who should be responsible must be held responsible. Hopefully parents are also doing the right thing by making sure that their children are brought up a certain way, but most importantly are told what is right from wrong. We do send our condolences to the families, of course, especially to the Oromoni family who are affected by this, and hopefully we do get answers much sooner rather than later. But today we're going to be talking about the Nigerian government and zeroing in on what has become a trust issue that keeps eroding between the Nigerian people and the government. We did see images a few days ago of a Lagos State government official who attended the Experience, which is a concert organized by the House on the Rock church, where he was booed by members of the audience, and we saw the pastor eventually apologizing to the Lagos State government official, and it has started off this conversation about, how Nigerians really do feel about government these days, especially with what happened on the 20th of October last year at the Lekki toll gate, and the report has come out from the panel and on the white paper, and of course the federal government and Lagos State government having their own versions of things. We're going to be talking about that on the show today, and I believe I'm being joined now by God Bless Otubere from our Abuja studios. If God Bless is there, how are you doing? Okay, we do have Reno Abiola. Reno Duala, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Reno, how are you doing? Sorry about that. Thanks a lot for joining us. So I want to let's start with the white paper. The Lagos State government released the white paper eventually from a report which you were a part of the panel at the start, and you ended up stepping down from your role as a member of that judicial panel. They accepted 11 of the 32 recommendations of the panel. One was outrightly rejected, 6 were modified, and 14 they say is not under their purview, which so they will be handed over those recommendations to the federal government, because those are not state government sort of under their jurisdiction. But I think the most fundamental part of everything which stood out for people is them saying that the 9 deaths which were reported at the Lekki toll gates, I beg your pardon, by the judicial panel was, in quotes, assumptions and speculations of the panel. What are your thoughts on this white paper so far?
Very much. Well, for me, I think that first I'd like to say that nobody needs a white paper to actually prove that the massacre happened at the Lekki toll gates last year. I even dare say that we didn't even need the panel's report. For me, that white paper is bloody with the perversion of justice. The white paper cannot alter the report of the judicial panel. And more so, a panel with many members on it that were handpicked by the government is now being discredited by the same government. It's simply government magic. And for me, I think that there's no lens in which the Lagos state government will not go to whitewash itself on the killings that happened during the NSAS protest. So it doesn't surprise me that the white paper is whitewashing them. Vital questions need to be asked. Who ordered the shootings? Why were live bullets fired at peaceful, unharmed, and unresisting protesters by the Nigerian army and the police? Who were the victims, rather, that the governor himself visited on the 21st of October 2020 in different hospitals? The governor was on live TV himself, citing forces beyond control. Who are the forces beyond control? These questions they were not answered. People have sat down on the panel for a year, and now the government turned around to call the speculations and assumptions, like you said. It's just a white paper with black content. We can go on and on about several state agents that have denied being at the Lekki toll gate, including the people that called several live videos made by several protesters, fake, green skin, and all of that. I remember even the Attorney General of the state said that hoodlums wearing army uniform may have been at the Lekki toll gate, and everybody was encouraged to go and prove facts at the panel. Now, the Lagos state government says that the panel is speculating, and they expect us to accept that white paper hook, line, and sinker. On one hand, the government is saying there was no massacre. On the other hand, the government is begging for justice. Only the wicked run, or in this case, walk, when there is no one chasing them. They haven't made sure that there's justice. And now they're saying peace, peace, where there is no peace. One question I'll ask, is the Lagos state government truly on the side of the people, or on the side that doesn't wish the people well? Thank you.
So I want to take you back to, when this panel was inaugurated. I mean, you were a part of this, because it's very strange for a lot of us seeing this unfold, hearing a state government who inaugurated a panel saying that the panel's recommendations will not be accepted. What were the terms? What did the state government say to you people to say, okay, go out and do this? Did it say represent, the voice of the people and bring back, I guess my question is, was this supposed to be recommendations, or did they want a report, that clearly defined what happened with the NSAS issue?
Okay, thank you very much. For the Lagos State panel, it had 2 exercises it was supposed to do. One was to investigate reports that were submitted to them, reports of police brutality, extortion, and harassment that people have always been talking about. The second was added later on as the consequence of the incidents that happened at the Lekki toll gate, of the massacre that happened at the Lekki toll gate. The panel members were supposed to investigate, if we're talking about the Lekki massacre, investigate what happened at the Lekki toll gate, bring out facts and their findings, compile them in the report, and give recommendations on what should happen. Let's not forget that this panel is supposed to be a sort of restorative justice panel. They're supposed to restore hope back into the acts of people and do some necessary investigations. And like you said, now the same government now turns around to say this same panel we have asked, that we have begged, that we have told to investigate into an incident speculating and assuming. And like I said, is this not government magic? And like you said, I left the panel, and then I've always said that partial wins are not enough. We need to get clear justice for victims, including prosecutions of officers. The panel clearly stated there was an attempt to cover up the incidents of the 20th of October 2020 by several state agents, and the white paper has now gaslighted that fact. I mean, it even refused to say anything. But the only thing it has said is saying that the panel members are speculating and assuming. I don't want to go on and on, but I think that this is a very much good example of government magic.
All right, Rina, I'll come back to you, but I think we're joined now by Benjamin Kuti, I believe. Benjamin, if you're there. We are just, I think, flabbergasted by a lot of what's happening. And I think the same question goes to you. What are your thoughts when you hear the Lagos State government saying, you know, yes, I inaugurated this panel to investigate and bring back a report, but no, I don't want the reports. I don't agree with their reports. Is that strange to you, or is that how a panel like this would work in your mind?
I totally disagree with the Lagos State government panel. I totally disagree with it. I think the panel came out with evidence and stuff, and that should have been good enough. I mean, the Lagos State government talking about the peace walk. There's no peace walk we can have. We have over 300 NSAS protesters still in prison, and that should be our priority, trying to get justice for them, trying to bring them out. In a democratic society, we can't have citizens who are demanding for good governance in our country. That's impossible. For example, you look at a country in Nigeria, for example, a country has 90 million citizens who are living in abject poverty. We are, what's it called? We have a lot of people, we have a political system, bad roads. So people have a right to come out and protest. How can you arrest protesters for crying aloud? So there can't be no peace walk at all. We all due respect to, I think Mr. Segalin came out the other day, he said he's going to work with the governor. I totally disagree with him. Because the fact that is we have people is still in prison today. Let's get them out first before we can have any justice. Let's talk about that. When people enter, protesters are out of prison, and then we can find a way forward. Then we can have a peaceful walk. We can start demanding for good governance in our society. Thank you very much.
But according to the government, I think the basis of this peace walk, from what I get from the Lagos State government, is, you know, a lot has happened already. There's so much to uncover. A lot has been said already. Maybe this might be a time to mend fences and start afresh. Is that a possibility? And is that a good move? I know you're saying that there's no way that's going to work without all of this being resolved. But because there's so many issues, is it possible to say, okay, let's just move on without addressing a lot of these things? Is that a possibility? Because which is what this Lagos State government is trying to do.
Well, yes, and I guess where the government is coming from, but the government also knows that a lot of people are hurt. When you look at some farms, for example, a lot of people have died from police brutalities in Lagos State. The government needs to do the actions. When you do A, B, C, D, people will automatically understand that, yes, the government is trying to do their best. When you look at people like the guy who died, what's it called, from the Rainbow Stars football, for example. You look at Kolade Johnson. How many police officers have been prosecuted? How many police officers, you tell police officers have been dismissed? We don't hear anyone being dismissed. People have to be convicted. For example, the George Floyd guy who died in America, Derek Chauvin, the police officer was sentenced to 20 years in prison. That's justice. When we hear that kind of stuff, the government doesn't need to come out and speak. People will say that, yes, this is the government who's doing the needful stuff. Coming for a peaceful walk for what? What's that going to lead us to? What we need is good governance in our states. We need good governance in Nigeria, a society that moves forward. Actions, not just talk. Because at the end of the day, when you look at what they said with the police officer and the police brutality is happening in a state like Lagos, for example, I mean, it's unbelievable. Just a few weeks ago, people came out to protest. And what did we get by Lekki toll gate? You're brutalizing citizens, you're beating them in democracy. These are not animals. These are humans, these are Nigerians who are demanding for a better society, a society that works for me and you. That's what we ask for. So I don't believe at all what Mr. Governor Sowolu is doing, and also disagree with Mr. Shegalink. I don't think it's right. There should be no peaceful walk, in my own opinion. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll come back to you, but let me switch back now to Reno Duola, if you're still with us. I want to read out, a part of what the Lagos State governor had said at the time when he started talking about this peace walk. He said clearly, our state deserves true healing after the disturbances that trailed last year's protest against police brutality. It is only the sustenance of harmony that can guarantee the realization of aspirations of all residents. So basically trying to, in his words, speed up the healing process. I want to believe. You don't think there's any way that made sense to anybody?
Thank you very much for that question. Like you said, and our coach is like trying to speed up the healing of people. For me, no walk was more peaceful than the NSAS protest. And we all know that until the government sends in disruptive elements to shoot at peaceful protesters, harass peaceful protesters, and all of that, any other walk is a political gimmick. It's a political parade and will be seen as such. The last time, like Lomo said, the last time, like the other speaker said, the last time young people went on a walk in Lagos, we all know what happened. The last peace walk when we do, now bullets and bloodshed we receive. In fact, the last 3 peaceful walks or demonstrations by young people in Lagos have been met with violence from the government. Many are still in prison from last year, October walk, as the government made sure that the innocent protesters on trumped-up charges since last year, have they been released? Lagos State government had 1 year. They've had 1 year to demonstrate peace, but none. I mean, for me, I think that the government, the Mr. Governor can work with the Nigerian army and police who have consistently brutalized young people at different walks. He has the numbers. He can call them again. Is this a walk of peace or a walk to pervert justice? People walk every day all over Lagos. The land does not need any more work to heal. What the land needs is justice. Peace is not the absence of war. Peace is the presence of justice. Thank you.
Okay. I think we're joined now by God bless Otubure, I believe, in our Abuja studios. Let me quickly just get a question in before we go on a quick break. God bless. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're talking about, the government and people's relationship. We've talked a lot about trust and how that has continued to erode, on both sides. If you were to give a quick sort of advice to the Lagos State governor at a time like this, what's the one thing you would tell them?
Well, you see, the truth is that advising the government is no small feat. But looking at what happened on the 20th of October 2020, and I put out a tweet and I said, if the Lagos State government, and now this is not Sanwo-Olu, this is not whether Buhari or anybody, it's if the Lagos State government and the federal government can just own up that something wrong happened last year and we are sorry about it and we would get to the bottom of it and give justice where justice is needed, I do not think we will be having this conversation after 1 year. So my advice is simple. Just listen to the inner recess of our being as leaders and actually begin to say, who do we hold responsible? Who is responsible? Where are the low-hanging fruits? If we can't bring the entire thing down, where are the low-hanging fruits? We need to find a way to give justice at this time. And there's no other way to say it. And the people know, right? So if I'm talking to the governor and if the governor is watching, let's find the low-hanging fruits and begin to show the people that we understand what has happened is wrong. We're making a commitment that it's not going to happen again. And if there are people that should be held responsible, let's begin to hold them responsible. The word again is, let us look for the low-hanging fruits. First, let's start from that base.
All right, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll still have Renu Oduola, Benjamin Kuti, and of course, God bless Otubure, talking about trust between government and its people. We're going to continue that conversation, especially as election season beckons. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation today about, trust between the people and its government. And, we have our special guests who are having this conversation with us. Let me come back to you now, Renu Oduola. Like I said, election season is coming. There's a lot that's going to start happening, especially in the year to come. 2022 is going to be, I think the APC said their national convention is happening in February, and that's probably going to open up the year to elections and all of that. We all saw what happened at the House on the Rock with the experience a few days ago where a Lagos State government official was booed on stage. And, there's been some sort of mixed reactions to that, especially from the pastor of the congregation apologizing on behalf of the youth and those who were present there, saying that, you know, you don't castigate your leaders at the time. But there are also people who believe that he only came there because elections are coming and it's time to start pacifying the youth. What should young people start thinking about at a time like this, where elections are coming? As much as people are upset, people are still angry, people still feel like justice hasn't been served with what happened last year. What should young people be looking at, especially as elections are coming, you know, and the votes are going to start being asked for from them?
Well, thank you very much for that question. What I wanted to say, or I've been on my mind, you know, I think it's a year, 12 months, or say 13 months to the 2023 elections, and all I can see is apathy. I mean, on the side of the people. And on the side of the leaders, they do not seem capable or ready to take advantage of anything, you know, or any situation to fix the problem. Rather, they will shut down anything alien to them because they do not understand it. A very recent example is the Twitter ban. Yesterday marks the 6th month that the Nigerian government has banned the social networking platform in Nigeria, citing threat to democracy. I can go on and on about the Minister of Information, but then we can all see that the minister's statements are part of what is destabilizing this country. The political systems that we expect that young people should trust today is marred with violence. And that is why we're engaging in participatory politics these days, maybe through social media discourse and all of that. Won't you agree with me that it is better to sit in the corner of your home and talk on your phone rather than risking being killed with a bullet? To fix the problems, for young people to be able to effectively participate, our public servants should be safe and must be accountable and transparent in their actions. It is the lack of transparency that is driving a lot of young people, not just young people, many Nigerians away from participating in the governance processes. These are the questions I will ask, and the questions that young people are asking today, and should ask themselves as we approach the 2023 elections. When will our leaders take responsibility for developing the nation and eradicating poverty? For issues that concern us the most, issues of survival, when will the police get off the streets and start fighting crime with modern technologies? When will they learn to fight crime with intelligence? When will the pain and suffering of the people matter to the leaders? When will Nigerian lives matter to Nigerian government? Nobody hates the government. And all many of us are clamoring for is a better nation, to live in peace, to be able to access opportunities. Because Nigerians, frankly, deserve better than what we have now. So what young people need to do is engage in every space. I know the safe spaces are shrinking. We do not have enough safe spaces to engage. But then whatever space we have now, we need to occupy everything, because we can now see that our future is in the hands of people that do not care about us. Thank you.
All right, let's go back to Abuja studios now with God Bless Otubere, and I want to talk about, you know, responsibility on both ends. So we're talking about trust, of course, and how people feel about government. So on the one hand, we have government constantly saying that Nigerians are responsible for demarketing Nigeria. I mean, we've heard the Minister of Information say a couple of times that the reason why investment is leaving the country is because all Nigerians talk about is negativity. So almost, you know, blaming Nigerians, and especially the young people on social media, for the way the economy has shaped up, you know, how we have demarketed the country. But on the other hand, people also believe that government is killing Nigerians, you know. So does this really go both ways? Are both points valid? And what's the way out of this?
When you look at the fact that the most strongest arm of the marketing of any nation is its citizens, clearly, but you also want to look at the response of government to how they interact with the citizens. If I'm in America or I'm in England and I'm thinking I want to come to do business in a country, and then I read on the news that the country shot at its citizens who were demanding an end to an anomaly in the police and security architecture, I do not think I would focus on what the people who are victims say more than the actions of those who run the place. Because if you can shoot your people, then how about me? So I have said it many times to the Minister of Information. The youths are not demarketing the country. That is a total lie. What is demarketing Nigeria today are those who currently run the apparatus of state. And let's be clear. It is the young people who are marketing this country around the world. The guys who are running Yaga Africa today, the guys who run Ready to Lead Africa, the guys who are running Jobaman, the guys who are building tech and getting partnerships and building unicorns across this country that are attracting investment across the world are not demarketing the country. It is the people who are currently running the system who don't understand that this is a social contract. The government is not a place of itself. I gave up my right. We all gave up our rights as young people so that we can bring this government in. If you just let me dovetail to the question you asked Renu a little bit, and you said 2023 is coming and it's like they're pacifying the youth. My response to young Nigerians is simple. You know those who stood for you when they came to shoot at you. You know those who shot at you. You know those who are championing your cause. And let me say this. We just came back from Anambra's election. And I would deviate a little bit from what Renu has said. People may see some level of apathy, but I'm telling Nigerians, get ready. You are going to see one of the most active citizenry that you've ever seen in 2023. Despite the chaos in Anambra, Ebuka, I'm telling you, the people were ready to vote. Moms, dads, young people were ready to vote because they now know that the person who makes the decision matters. And how that person gets there in our system is through voting. I tell you that this apathy that you see is not one that will be seen on the ballot box in 2023. It is one of disdain to say, how do we move forward? What is the strategy that we will now use to engage the system so that we can remain alive and protest at the ballot box? So I'm saying to the politicians, we know those who speak for us. We know those who are for young people. We know those who understand our language. And this is 2021. 2022 is coming. We're not just waiting. We've started organizing. And those who speak our language and have us in their heart are the ones that will give our vote in 2023. So I think answering the first question that you asked me, it is the fault of the government because we're playing our part and we're doing our best. And if we continue to see change at the top level, trust me, we're going to come back and say, good nation, great nation, good people, and we'll wear our flags again. We will wave it. Because just imagine, we were waving our flags. They told us that if you're waving your flag, the Nigerian military cannot come near you and shoot you or fight you. But we were waving our flags. And then they said it was blanks. They said they were Agberos. And then they said, no, it was not blanks. And then they said, oh, no, not many people died. Come on. Come on. This is about human lives. And once you lose that essence, you lose the essence of governance. So I'm saying to the Minister of Information, sir, we are not demarketing Nigeria. It is a collective responsibility. Do your part. Own up to it that something wrong happened. Right. The fact that the military was even there is enough for resignations to be happening today.
All right, God bless. I'll come back to you.
We're in the 21st century, and we understand what democracy means.
Passion definitely there. But we're joined now by Adeton, who's, thanks a lot for joining us, Adeton. We're talking about trust between government and its people and how people feel about government. I want to get your thoughts on, this white paper which we've been talking about. And, the Lagos State government has rejected a number of the recommendations of the white paper, especially the part where it says 9 people were killed at the Lekki toll gate last year. But something else, of course, that came out of the white paper is, the panel recommended that Lagos State government and its people should find a way to reconcile, which, of course, the Lagos State government has said was the reason for this peace walk that they have tried to pull off. You know, is there any headway out of this, you think?
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, Ebuka, thank you so much. The peace walk is what is everywhere now. Everybody wants to know, are we doing the peace walk? Are we not doing the peace walk? But sincerely, a free mind is easy to get on the street than a filled mind with pain, agony, and sorrow. It's not going to be easy for the government to just come out, for the governor to just come out and announce our names and say we should come for a peace walk. We've never had a dialogue. We've never had your consent to want to do a peace walk. Everybody waited that day. We're expecting the report on the white paper, and then you came up with something different. You know, that's not what we want. We can only come out to say we're having a peace walk with the government when we have sat down a round table to say, okay, this is the mind of the people, this is the pain of the people. What do you want to do? What do we go back and tell them? What do you have in mind? Have you realized the gravity of what you've done? Because for me, the government have become murderers daylight. Whether they kill you physically, they've killed a lot of people morally. A lot of people are unstable. A lot of people have lost trust. A lot of people have taken their whole lives into their own hands, their future, their destiny. So for the government to say we're having a peace walk, that means you're giving us the assurance that there's going to be change. We are all tired. You see, whatever the government says has become a rhythm to every one of us. We hear it is on autoplay. We don't want that anymore. Give us something new. Give us something sincere. Give us something we're going to see with our eyes and we're going to feel in our heart that, yes, the government really cares about us. So for the peace walk, I don't think is the next thing. It's not the next line of action now.
So I hear you there. And of course, we're talking about elections and, you know, election season coming very strong. We know once politics starts in Nigeria, nothing else matters. And it looks like 2022 is going to be very heavy with that. So when you talk about, you know, people are tired and people are angry, which I'm sure you are as well. Are you going to be a part of this electoral process as a citizen? Because Renu had earlier spoken about, you know, probably apathy becoming a problem because people are just completely, you know, zoned out and saying they're not interested anymore. Is that the right way to go? Or do you think this can be possibly channeled to, you know, fighting at the ballot boxes to, of course, not literally, but, you know, to effect change to the ballot box? Do you see that actually happening, or do you see apathy being the result?
For me, I don't think there's going to be change in the electoral system, and then whatever plans they have is going to be effective. I'll tell you why. These people have their weapons they used to fight. These people have their weapons they used to destroy us. And these are the touts that they have. If you look at the election in Nigeria and look at the mass number of people who really come out to vote, we the elites, the educated, we who know what our problems and we're looking for change, we're few. The real people who have the voters card are the people back end, in our villages, in our towns, behind the corners of every street in Lagos State or anywhere in Nigeria. These are the people they give chick feeds to. These are the people they bring out to come and run the election. And my question is, these people, do they really matter? Yes, they really matter because they are the ones who are setting us back. It's not you and I who knows our problem. It's not about you and I who knows what we want. So for 2023, I think it's just going to be the same old thing. I don't see anything that is going to bring a difference because they are all back there now preparing for how to share whatever they're going to share and how to tell people to do what they know how to do best. So for me, the thing now is it's getting better. And I say it's getting better now because politics is changing and people are not understanding that politics is changing. Politics is changing because everybody is lending their voice now and we're having a say. If we say things unlike before where you have to write letters, you have to write petitions that nobody is hearing, nobody is listening. Now a common shout, they're hearing everything that you're saying. So I think that the electoral system, they don't have plans to do anything and it's not going to change the position of things in this country. The only thing that can change the position of things in this country is you and I lending your voice.
Very, very true there. I'll come back to you, Adetona. But Reno, I want to get your perspective now on, you know, what's the way out of this? You know, we are still, a lot of people are still, you know, stuck, and I mean, rightfully so, on the events of October 2020. You know, how do we, is there a way out of this? You know, what should government be doing? What should people do? This peace walk, people are saying you're not going to come out for it, even though we saw the Lagos State governor, I think, at the Lagos State University, where some people said they were going to join him and all of that. You know, is there a way out of this anytime soon without government moving their position?
Thank you very much. To first address the issue that happened at the Lagos State University, I think that case is just a very good example of government propaganda. because the students at that university, I dare say, I do not think that they intend to go on any work with the governor. We only saw an example of the government's propaganda, the PR they pushed out. That's one. Because I think that the governor, or the Lagos State government, is very particular about proving a point with the so-called peace walk. Now, is there a way out? Justice, like I said earlier, is action in accordance with the law. And that law has to ensure that all of us, not just one person, not just some particular set of people, all of us have to receive equal treatment, fair treatment. I mean, I heard about the work, and then some people said that people that are not working are not choosing to engage. There is a difference between work and engagement. Engagement, conversations are good, not a work with photo ops. According to Connect Help, a platform that could document state violence, police brutality, harassment, extortion in Nigeria alone. Just for Lagos State has the highest prevalence rate of police brutality, harassment, and extortion in Nigeria. And they've risen astronomically over the past 11 months. We have a lot of people watching, this program, and at least some of them will come out and say, yes, I have been harassed and extorted. Now, have Nigerians received fair treatment? Is justice not seemingly selective in our country? The innocent citizens arrested last year, have they been released? The 5-for-5 demand, have they been fully implemented? People who have committed atrocities against Nigerians, have they been brought to book? Names have been called. These people are not ghosts or fictitious characters. They should be prosecuted. The reason why young people came out on the street last year are our policymakers focused on that. Is police brutality not increasing every day? What even happened after this war? That anyone who dares to protest against police brutality now becomes an enemy of the state? Does this war mean that police brutality incidences have reduced in Lagos? It's like trying to make us look as if we're mad for speaking out, for protesting, for asking that unnecessary deaths at the hand of rogue security agents stop. It's rubbing in the people's face that we will shoot you and nothing will happen. That's currently what's happening. And we're asking for a way out when people are still dying. It's telling the people the same thing that the police officers have always said, that nothing will happen, and making sure that nothing happens. Nigerians are seeing people go scot-free with crimes because they are fortunate to be in political offices. Why the common man is rotting in jail for it? Violence is happening to citizens but are never addressed, let alone be solved. A supposedly democratic government does not listen to the cries of the people. Yes, it turns around and says, no, the cries you are crying is tears of happiness, it's not sadness. The presence of selective justice is not enabling us to find a way out. What has to start happening in Nigeria? Because the Economist said in an article recently that I saw that the Nigerian state has become a huge crime scene, from the giant of Africa to a crime scene. And why has that happened? Because justice is selective. We're choosing who to give justice to. When citizens get harassed, when citizens get killed, brutalized, nothing happens. What has to start happening right now is that people cannot continue to go scot-free with crimes. Police officer cannot continue to brutalize citizens without any form of the government reaction. I mean, there was an incident that happened in Lagos a few weeks back where a particular police officer killed a young man with a dagger in broad daylight in Mero Yanopaja. The government is yet to say anything regarding this issue. What happened after that killing? The police officers, the police state government, they sent more police officers to go and kill more people. It is ridiculous. Like Olumo said, we cannot be living like animals in our own country. So the way out is to start with justice, with prosecution, with transparency, with accountability. Thank you.
Very heavy conversation there. Thank you very much, Renu, Benjamin. God bless, and of course, Adetomo, for your contributions today. This is a conversation that's going to keep going on, and I know that so many questions are still left unanswered, unfortunately, and we just hope that government tries to do the right thing. We're going to take a break now and come back. Please don't go away.